Today I'm going to simplify 22 super duper confusing PMP topics. I'm going to make them easy, sticky in your brain so that you can take them forever and just eliminate that risk of like, I don't know that stuff. So hang on for that. Now, before I do that, I got to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't put a podcast out for a couple days. Now, I love these more than anything, talking to you, and I love it even more when you talk back to me, okay? When you write or text or call. That's beautiful. It gives me energy, and I think I'm helping you, and I dig it. Now, what I did, the reason why I didn't film for a couple days, there's a lesson in it for PMP studying for you, okay? I usually crank them out day to day because I love talking to you, right? And it makes me feel like I'm connecting and coaching and all that stuff. It's awesome. What somebody convinced me, and I think they were well-intentioned, was, yo, stop doing these morning things that you're doing. Like, I know it's your routine, but stop doing it. Film 4 or 6 of them one day. We'll automate them, easy peasy, and then you can go do other stuff, right? I said, okay, that sounds cool. I did it, and I posted them out there, and I guess it felt good. But when I got to the point where I had to film another section, I got apprehensive. I got nervous. I got anxious. I started to sweat. I started to lose my voice, like not literally, but like I didn't know what to talk to you. I didn't feel like I was connected, and I felt terrible. Not to overstate, it was only 2 weeks, but this is what happens when we get off our routine. So I missed Monday. I felt terrible about it. I made an excuse to do something else. Tuesday, I just plain forgot, and then in the middle of the day, like, whatever, like I couldn't find my voice. I was scared. I'm just telling you the God's honest truth. And then here we are Wednesday morning at 6:59, and I've been trying to do this for 15 minutes, but I think I got it now, all right? And I have committed to myself to stick to this rhythm. What I want you to do in your study plan is not hoard all your studying to one day unless it's like unavoidable, right? I want you to steady Eddie it. Couple hours here, half hour here, 45 minutes, hour and a half, take a day off. 45 minutes, hour and a half, hour, whatever it is, your rhythm, make it your rhythm, but steady Eddie, because you need to break down that initial barrier of I can't do it, I'll do it tomorrow, maybe later Gator, those things. No, don't be like me. Use me as an example. You keep that momentum, that inertia going. And that's what I want for you, because it's those people, when I see the students, that do the best. Can you do that for me? Don't be me, and I promise I won't let you down again, all right? So here we go. Woo! 22 super confusing topics, probably made easy, all right? And a lot of these topics are like this, that, and the other thing, and they kind of like walk over each other, and I want to make them easy, all right, as we're 2 minutes in. Now, the first one, and you might think, this ain't so bad, but who knows? It's predictive versus rolling wave versus iterative. A lot of times students going to gloss by those and they really don't understand the essence. Now, what I want you to think, when you hear the word predictive, I want you to think planned all up front, way up front. See it pushed all to the left, right? That's traditional, waterfall, predictive, right? Rolling wave is that middle ground between iterative or agile and predictive. Rolling wave is we're going to get some details now, nail it down, and we're going to get some details later, more in phases, bigger chunks. Like we can't figure everything out. Chunk to chunk to chunk, just big waves. Think big phases, big waves, big chunks that we do. Now, iterative is do, refine, repeat, do, refine, repeat, do, refine, repeat. Like smaller chunks, that's what we want. So see the evolution of predictive way up front. Rolling wave, okay, big waves, but still in phases. And iterative is boom, 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 right? As we go down there, those little sprints, that's what we want to do. It all involves planning, but it just depends when and at what depth. All right, that's number one. This might be a two-parter as I'm feeling my oats now, all right? Now, number 2 is the charter versus the business case versus the benefits management plan. They're all done at the beginning, right? All those are earlies at the beginning. The charter, well, we'll go the other way, okay? We'll go business case. That nails down, hey, why are we doing this thing? What's it worth? What's the justification for this project? Okay, juice worth the squeeze, as we say. Now, the charter says, hey, man, it is worth it, bro. And here is the official authorization and my assignment to go spend money, do work, take on the world. That's what the charter does. And then that benefits management plan, when everyone's like, I don't even know what that thing is, it defines how and when the benefits will be realized. So it's that check on your charter, on your business case to say, I know you said it makes a big It's going to give a bigger benefit. I'm going to learn to talk tomorrow with the business case. I know it's authorized with the charter, but, prove to me that you got your ducks in a row, that you can track it, you can, return it, and then I understand when the money's coming in, all right? Those three are a unit, if you will. They really go together. So see them in your brain, each a distinctive case, each serve a purpose, each, if you're not doing them now, and I find myself like, oh, did we do a business case on this? And have my boys and I do that kind of analysis. It doesn't have to be super deep. Why are we doing this? What benefit? When will we get the money back? Etc. Those things. All right. We're rolling now, Jack. All right. Next thing. Work performance data versus work performance information versus reports. They all feel like just gobbledygook, same stuff. I want you to see an evolution. I want you to see that work performance data. It's that raw, like, facts, that those details, those things that like, oh yeah, we spent this much, we did this much, we completed this much, all those things. It's like big, long Excel sheet kind of stuff. The information, work performance information, is the context that one would get from analyzing and understanding the data. So after it's processed, bloop, on the back end, you get some aha, and that's work performance information. And then it's packaged up for, publication, for, reading, for, sending it out to all the folks and on the information radiators and all that stuff. That is the report. So see it as an evolution. Raw materials, that's the data. It comes in. It's processed through analysis into information. Aha. And then bang, it's packaged up for the masses or for your big bosses or for anybody in between in a report, right? That's awesome. Now, we are cooking with gas right now. We're at 4. So this is definitely a 2-parter because you got places to be today. All right. And so the next one is product scope versus project scope. Now this one will spin you in a circle twice. The product, think of features. The project, think of the work to deliver. All right. So I think I'm getting on the road to explaining it, but you're probably like, huh? All right. So the reason why this is confusing, I think, is how you define what and how you define how. Okay, so stick with me. I'm almost there, all right? Now, the product scope is the features, the characteristics in the final product, okay? That's the what. The project scope is the total work delivered by that product. That's the how, okay? So then we get, as we frame that out, think of product scope. I'm going to simplify it down. Features and characteristics of that final product. What would be there? Just boop, okay, magically as we get there. The project scope is the path, if you will, the total work, and work in the sense of like execution in the sense to deliver that product. You see it? Okay, that's a funky one. Now, the next one is, and students sometimes goof this up, all right, lead versus lag. Now, what is lead? What is lag? We're talking about schedule, okay? And then so, like as we go through there, it's both related to the schedule and the timing. Lead, okay, the successor, I'm going to say it in the nerdy way first. The successor starts before the predecessor ends. Oh, got it, man. I'm pulling it. Okay. Lead is the successor, is the second one, right? So the successor can start before the predecessor ends. So think of the second one. Goodness me, I'm goofing this up. Let's start again here. All right. We do this live. You know what I said, whatever. I'm going to try to make it simple. Think of the first one. The predecessor is the first activity. The successor is the second one. We together. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting 2 hands down on the piece of on the table. The first one is the predecessor. The second one is the successor, and they go in series, right? So if you have a lead in your activities, that second one can go left. It can be pulled earlier before the other one finishes. Okay, sweet. So lead goes left. All right. Now lag. All right, lag is like there's a magnet like pushing the 2 things apart. All right, between the first and the second, there's like a natural law that says, dude, these have to be a certain distance between them. You have to have 4 days of lag or 12 hours of lag before the next one can start. Think of like paint drying. You get the paint done with the first activity. You're like, dude, you can't just do something with it. You'll put it on the machine or you'll get paint everywhere and it'll be all goofed up, right? You've got to let it cure for X number of hours or whatever. So that's lag. Oh, goodness me. I goofed that one up, but I think we're all right. Lead is the second activity pulls left. Lag is the second activity goes right. Got it? All right, let me get out of there. All right. Now, as we stick to schedule stuff, there's ways to speed them up, right? Now, one of the ways is called crashing and the other one's called fast tracking. Crashing is if we throw more resources, we throw more people, equipment, machinery, whatever it is, if it allows, we throw more at that. It does cost more, so we can speed it up, okay? Like, hey, if we had 2 welding machines and 2 sets of welders, we could do even better. Bam, that's crashing. Adding resources to finish smoother or sooner. Fast tracking is 2 things that are normally in series. Remember, one and then another. And if we take the second one and we do it in parallel, if it allows, okay? And so we overlap the task. We put them in parallel so we can do them at the same time instead of sequentially. And that's a way to speed up. So fast tracking, add resources, or crashing, add resources, fast tracking, do them in parallel. Woo! Okay. All right. Here's one I enjoy and you might enjoy too. What's the difference between risk avoidance versus mitigation versus transfer versus acceptance? Now, here's the simple thing I want you to remember. Avoid means we remove the risk from the table. Not that we don't think about it. It's like we change the nature so that the risk no longer exists. We have removed it from possibly happening. That's an avoidance, okay? Now, mitigation, it's still there, but it's lessened or reduced. So think mitigate, lessen, or reduced. And transfer means we shift that risk, it still exists, to another party through insurance or through subcontracting or contracting that goes, they're going to handle it, okay? And accept. Accept is like, hey man, the wind will blow, the rain will come, we're going to live through it. All right? You're just going to live with it. You're not going to do anything except moderate or monitor it, okay? So as we go through there. Now, we are chunking along. We're at 12 minutes now. I usually go like 15 minutes, so I'll keep going, and then I'll film another one, and we'll go from there, okay? It's the second half. The next thing is contingency reserve versus management reserve. Do you know the difference? Because they feel like similar, right? They're both reserves. Now, they're related to risk and budget, and what you want to know is contingency reserve is what we allocate during planning for those risks that we've identified, that we've planned for, and then we've set like risk response plans, right? For there. So contingency reserve is for known risks. They call them known unknowns, but known risks, okay? And then management reserve is another chunk of money that we build into the overall budget that is for known or unknown risks, or they call them unknown unknowns, okay? Unforeseen scope, expansions, unforeseen risk, unforeseen who knows what's they're going to happen. We have a separate pot of money that we can pull from through authorization, and we don't steal from Peter to pay Paul. Got it? All right, so we keep on rolling. Now we are on, I think, number 9, and we got functional versus matrix versus projectized organizations. Like sometimes you can show a chart of this and it gets all wild because all the different factors and it gets kind of confusing. But in reality, think about functional is the source department has all the power. Say you're working for the engineering department or the accounting department or supply chain or whatever. You go as a project manager, you work for them. Everything flows through them. The organization set up this, to allow the, everything to be good in the organizational side for like the engineering, the supply chain, the whomever, right? It's all that direction. Can make your job a little bit more difficult as a project manager because you got to go in there and say, Mother, may I? Now, on the other side of the street is projectized. Everything's set up that is lined to specific projects or gigs, if you will, okay? It could be like a construction firm that's like, we're building a bridge and all our resources are going toward the bridge, right? Or a consulting firm that says, hey, we have this client engagement. Everything's going toward there. So the ruler of the day is that engagement, right? Whether it's the bridge or the consulting gig, all right? So the PM has ultimate power there because all the chips are shifted to that side. Now, it's pretty cool. PM controls budget, resources, decision. It's a much more advantageous situation, but the wind's at your back in a good sense. But there's also pressure, so it's not easy peasy. And then in the middle, it's what most organizations are. It's that there's departments and there's usually a project focus and they blend them together. So we have PMs and functional managers sharing power. Now there can be weak, balanced, and strong. We'll go through that later. But in reality, it's like you're dealing with both departments and a project focus that has like a PMO and those kind of things, and you blend them together. Now most organizations out there, I would gamble, are matrix. So you felt this, okay? Where you're being pulled this way and that way. And if you understand that if you were, hey, we just had departments and I was deployed to a department, you would understand the pressures in a functional organization to like work within there doing their job. And then if you go to the other side of the street, you'd be like, wow, Project Eyes would be a fun neighborhood because it's all just to support me and my people. And that's awesome too. All right. Now, as we go into here, let's get toward the end and talk about contracts. Isn't that what everybody wants? Procurement, contracts. Maybe I'll throw a little math in there to make it fun for you. Who knows? All right, so procurement contracts, there's different types. We're going to go surface level, but that's all you need to know. We got fixed price. We got also cost reimbursable. And we got time and materials. So like, what's the difference? Now, the way to think about it is where does the risk exist? Okay, the most risk in the contract from like cost overruns and, taking it on the chin in a sense. So with a fixed price contract, okay, fixed price, the person that's doing the work takes the majority of the cost risk, okay? Because think about it. If you are a contractor painting a house and they said, I'll give you $10,000 to paint this house or whatever it costs to paint a house, I have no idea. Then you'd say, yes, I can do it for that. But what happens if your boys and girls kick over all the buckets, it rains and, blows all the paint away, whatever. I don't know what happens in houses. But imagine who pays for that. With a fixed price, you just get the $10K. So you, as the provider, as the service provider, would take the risk. Okay, so you're selling a service. The seller assumes the cost risk with a fixed price. Now, cost reimbursable, if now, change it. Now it's your house and you're saying, hey, I'll pay for the paint. I'll pay for the other stuff. You're good to go. If all that rain and all that kick buckets and all that stuff happened, who would pay for the additional paint? You would. You would as the buyer of the service. So the buyer of the service assumes the cost risk in cost reimbursable. Now, time and materials are kind of a different type of project or a contract, right? That's more toward, it's kind of like a hybrid. And we think about flex like as, the cost risk. It's kind of shared between both. It can balloon up, but in reality, we think of time and materials as like, I need supplemental labor. Like, hey, can you give me a price for consultants? What is it per day or hour or whatever it is? Oh, it's $1,000 a day. Okay, sweet. Like, and I have to use this many or whatever it is. So it's like supplemental labor, time, right? Or materials. Hey, what's the price for pencils? Oh, it's $1 per pencil, making stuff up, right? Okay, do I have to buy a minimum? Yeah, they come in a box of 50. All right, cool. So, all right, I could buy those. So time and materials. It's like it's an escape hatch or valve that you can use to like obtain things, either materials, like the pencils, or the time, meaning labor and material and machines and stuff. All right, just a separate contract that's hooked up there. All right, so as we go, last one I'll do, hopefully this is helpful, and then I'll crank more out and I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to do it tomorrow morning because I want to stay on my rhythm for you because I want to be here every day, every night for you anytime. The last one, we're going to go issue log versus risk register. A lot of times when people solve questions, they just skate by it. They see it as the same thing. I don't want you to see that. I want you to see that word issue pop out and that word risk pop out. And when we think about log and register, they basically mean the same thing. I don't know why they use different words. It's big, long list, okay? So risk register is a potential, could happen, future potential problems. Issue is we got a problem now. We have hit the iceberg. That's an issue. We might hit an iceberg. We might run out of iced tea. Those are both risks. One's bad, the other's not so bad. You choose iceberg or iced tea. Which one's worse for you, all right? Now the issue, bang, we've run out of iced tea, all right? So we want to track both problems, right? Issue log is for those things, hit the icebergs. What happened? When did it happen? How did we deal with it? What's the current status of it? Let's keep it rolling. And then the risk register is, we're taking all those risks. We're squeezing the project multiple times. We're doing that ranking. It's like a backlog in a sense. And we are evaluating probability versus impact, coming up with a risk score, defining a risk owner, coming up with a risk response plan to mitigate, etc., whatever you want, and then taking a look at it, putting those binoculars out in the distance to see if we already got them, right? Awesome. Now, I'm going to do bonus one more. Let's just make it 20 minutes. Goodness me, all right? Now, the one more that we did is qualitative versus quantitative risk analysis. We were just talking about risk, so I said let's put this one in there too. Now, qualitative versus quantitative. First of all, stupid long words. Who cares? Qualitative is touchy-feely. We are ranking risks. What is our belief on how bad it is? What is our belief on how long, how probable it is? So that we can start ranking them to see what jumps to the top, and then we double down and think about them. Okay, that's qualitative. Now, while we might use numbers for like, hey, it's a 5 out of 5, probability or impact, those are numbers. You're not, seeing double. Like, those are more touchy-feely kind of we believes. They're not like take it to the banks, okay? Quantitative is where we go nerdy with the numbers, all right? That's where we look at all our risks, all the things that we played out, and first of all, we might say for a big project, what can we infer about the riskiness of this project? We might use Monte Carlo analysis, other kinds of tornado diagrams, other things that we're going to do to understand the profile of our project risk-wise. What's our range of uncertainty? This is as bad as it could get. This is as good as it could get. Here's where it's most likely going to be. And we can look at that from a 40,000 foot, 20,000, whatever foot, high level perspective to go, ooh, I'm comfortable or not comfortable with that level of risk. And we can double down. We can change it. We can change something. We can mitigate this. We can avoid this. We can do that. Whatever it is. But it helps you see bigger picture stuff. All right? So that is 21 minutes, 21 seconds, and I don't know how many seconds. If you stuck here, I appreciate you more than you know. I want to help you. Reach out to me. Say it with me now. You know my phone number, 757-759-5282. See you later, alligators. I'll post another one on Thursday. Let's push it to Friday because of the day between. You need time to process. But next week, Monday, and we're going to keep going on Thursday. See you later, alligators.